Hey everybody, it's Kay. I'm here today to tell you a crazy fucking story about the time I may have witnessed a murder? Question mark, quotation mark, exclamation point, probably attempted murder. I don't fucking know. Alright, so put on your seatbelts, it's a wild fucking ride. So, for Thanksgiving break, I decided to drive back to Vermilion to go see my family. I live in Ohio, so I live in Columbus, and that's about 2.5 hours away from where my family are. So I purchased this car recently that is kind of a piece of shit. Got a couple $100 out of it, so it's not anything too nice. Um, yeah, and I decided to drive it to Vermilion on a long trip, and thought that I wouldn't break down. Yeah, I made it all the way there. I made it there I wasn't confident, but I was pretty optimistic, so it's alright. I made it there. It was great. It was fine. I was like, ooh, look at me in my car, guys. Haha. I don't know why I had juju on that beat. Weird. So, I fucking make it there. Alive. Everything's fine. I had to get gas one time. I don't know. I went off route maybe once. It's alright. So I make it there, and my family's all happy to see me. They're like, hey, what's up, guys? They weren't. They were like, oh my god, I miss you. How's school? Oh my god. So I make it there. Everything's fine. I don't really drive my car all week long that I'm there because my grandparents were like, hey, want to use our car? And I'm like, yeah. So I wanted to drive a nicer car, obviously. I'm like, gotta flex. So anyway, I didn't really use my car all week, and my grandpa was like, let's look at your car, because it's a little rough, to be honest, so let's look at it. So I was like, okay, cool. And meanwhile he's looking at my car, everything's fine. I tried to go get an oil change before the I'm gonna fucking murder. So I tried to go get an oil change before I left to go on this trip, but the place that I went to was we won't give you an oil change because your oil pan is messed up. And I'm like, okay. So didn't get the oil change. So my car's leaking oil. Life's great. So they said as long as I keep putting oil in it, I should be fine. Should be fine. I wasn't fine. Anyway, after my week-long trip with my family, it's all great. Everything's great. I'm like, alright guys, I love you. I gotta go back now. So I go to drive back. Everything's fine and dandy for an hour or two. An hour and a half maybe. And then I'm on the freeway. I'm chilling in the left lane because I'm a hard bitch. I go hard. I drive fast. I don't give a fuck. Not really. I'm safe, but I was in the left lane. Not gonna lie. It's a story time. We gotta be honest. So I'm in the left lane and I'm cruising. I have my cruise control on. I was listening to some Shawn Mendes, please have mercy on me. I was living. Then I look down at my gauge, and I noticed that it's all the way to the H, my temperature gauge. And I was like, that's not good. That's probably bad. I don't know shit about cars. Ask me a question about history, I'll tell you, but when you ask me about a car, I don't fucking know. So I'm chilling in this car, and I'm I'm a little scared right now. I'm driving. I'm please have mercy on me. Praying to Jesus up there. Hey, am I good? And I'm I'm probably going to die, but it's okay. And so after I was done contemplating my life, I was maybe I should pull over. So I get over all the way to the right lane, and I see that there's a ramp, an exit ramp or something, to go to a gas station. So I was oh, I'll go there. So I got off the ramp, and I was sitting at a stoplight, and then the stoplight turned green, because that's what they do. And I went to go turn, and my steering wheel locked, and my car was shutting down. And at this moment, I was fuck, I dragged this on too long. So then, I shit you not, as I was going to turn, and my car was shutting down. I wasn't going fast enough for the bitch behind me. What did they do? They fucking sideswept me. They fucking sideswept me into the ditch. Yeah. So, I'm in the ditch now. That's where I wanted to go in the first place. And I'm like kind of panicking, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Okay. And the car that hit me kept going because they were like, fuck you. And I was like, okay, great. So I'm sitting in this ditch crying hysterically. Next thing I know, a cop pulls up behind me. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what else can happen today? Like, nothing else can beat this day. I'm like crying. Boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. So yeah, the cop comes up and she's like, she was a lady cop. And she was like, do you have your license on you? And I was like, yeah. I pulled it out, showed it to her, and like, she's like, do you have a registration? I'm like, yeah, but like, it's not in my name. And so like, first she probably thought I stole the car. Typical. What do I look like? Somebody that steal a car? Probably. I mean, like, flex, you know. No. Anyway, I'm like sitting there crying. She comes back and she's like, well, there's really nothing I can do for you, but like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. She gets in her cop car. It drives away, because, I mean, there's really nothing she could do. She didn't really help me, but it's fine. So then I call my grandma, I call everybody, I call my mom, I call my grandma, I call, like, my dad, I call Jesus, I call Obama, like, I call fucking everybody, like, freaking the fuck out, because I'm, like, 50 miles out of Columbus, and then, like, 100,000 fucking miles out of, like, Vermilion. So, I'm, like, far, and I'm, like, in front of this marathon that has, like, a Subway in it. So, like, at least there's something good out of this. Like, there's Subway, which I never fucking got, but we'll get there. And I'm, like, I don't know. I'm, like, sitting there waiting and waiting for, like a knight in shining armor to come save me, which never fucking happened. And I, like, call my grandma. My grandma, like, purchased AAA for me, like, which is fucking awesome. Like, I love her so much for that. She purchased AAA for me to come, like, pick me up. And AAA. 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 So, she was like, oh, don't worry, they'll be there in, like, 30 minutes. I said, oh, that's fucking great. 30 minutes pass. It's, like, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, 30 minutes passed, and AAA still wasn't there. And I was like, Grandma, like, they're not here yet. And, like, she called, and they were, like, they called me, and then AAA called me, and I was like, oh, God, they're almost here. And then they were like, your AAA will be here in the next 50 minutes. And I was like, 50? I thought it was 30. And that was, like, an hour ago. So I'm waiting. I'm, like, trying to keep myself together, and I'm like, 50 minutes passes, they're still not there, and, like, they keep calling me, like, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 25 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck, like, this is not okay. 3 hours passes. It's dark. It's cold. I'm hungry, like, I'm starving, I'm dying, like, I really just want to fucking go home. And, like, then there's, like, the gas station, and then, like, I'm on a hill, and then you can see, like, the parking lot to this, like, Farmstead family restaurant, and, like, they're open from, like, 8 to 1, so, like, you can tell that they're, like, a family place, like, they're probably, like, an Amish place or something, like, I don't know. And right before any event that was crazy happened, another cop came up, and they asked me how I was doing, if I was okay, like, if they could get me anything, and they told me that the closest town was Marengo, and that was, like, 10 miles away, and I was like, okay, great. So, I don't know, people were Googling my location to try to see where I was. Like, people were, like, ready to come get me, but I didn't want to leave my car because, like, it's not in my name, and, like, I didn't want to leave my car, like, an hour out of Columbus. So, I'm waiting for the AAA once again. It's dark. It's, like, pitch black. Like, the only thing that's light is, like, the lights from the gas station, and then some lights from the family said restaurant. So, I'm on FaceTime with my friend. And, like, he was being a trooper throughout this. Like, he was great. Like, I was freaking out and, like, you know, like I do. And I, like, look over and I see this, like, these two guys. And their two cars are at the family said restaurant. And they're, like, conversing. And then I see the one guy and the other guy start, like, pushing each other. And then they, like, the guy here was, like, he got really close. And then the next thing I see, the one guy just fucking falls. And I was like, I was shook. Like, bitch, I watched this entire thing. And I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Like, I was like, I didn't know how to react. And, like, he dropped. And the guy fucking got in his car and drove away. And I was like, oh my fucking god. I was like, did he just stab him? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my god. And I was like, shook. Like, I've seen so many movies, but, like, that wasn't a movie, bitch. Like, that was real life. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So then the guy is laying there, and I'm on FaceTime with my friend, and I was like, I swear to God, this guy's not okay. And he was there for like 2 minutes. And I was like, oh my god, that may seem like a long time, but when somebody's on the ground just laying there for 2 minutes and their fucking car is running, it's a long time. And I was like, oh my god, I'm the only person that saw this. Like, that's not good. So I, like, call 911 on my phone, and I call 911, I'm talking 911, I'm like freaking the fuck out. I don't know where my location is, so I'm like, this place, like, you know, like, I don't fucking know. Like, I said the place, and, like, they were like, okay, like, we'll try to, like, Google your fucking location or something. And so, like, they said that they would take care of it, and I was like, freak the fuck out. And I was like, I'm not getting out of my car. I'm like, I'm locking the fucking doors and staying in here. So who knows what kind of trouble that guy was in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it was anybody, I don't know. It's creepy shit. So then I, like, call my friend back, and I'm like, they're taking care of it. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, he's laying there, and there's, like, So then a car comes and, like, goes down the back street of that, like, family restaurant, and they, like, pass the car. It's, like, the guy's car that, like, got stabbed or something. He passed it, and then he fucking did, like, a fucking, like, rewind, and he just went back and stopped and jumped out of his car and went down to the guy and was, like, holding him and, like, making sure he was okay. And this guy had blood everywhere. Like, there was so much fucking blood. I was like, oh my god, like, he's not okay. And, like, I felt bad because I was like, oh my god, like, if I could have done something. Like, I mean, like, I called 911, like, they took fucking forever to get there, just like AAA. And then, oh my god, he starts, like, yelling, and I was just like, oh my fucking god. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm a Rango. And, like, he has blood all over him, and he's like, I think he's on his phone. Like, I'm freaking the fuck out. I saw my tow truck finally come up, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. I get in my tow truck, and, like, after we got my car up or whatever, like, the ambulance showed up, and I was just like, oh my fucking god. I don't know if he died. I don't know if he, like, lived. I don't fucking know. I don't even know, like, what the fuck happened. He could have been, like, a mobster for all I know. Like, he could have been, like, in trouble. Like, I don't know. Like, I have no fucking idea, like, what was wrong. And, like, I don't know, like, I have no idea, and that's what pisses me off to this day, is that I have no fucking clue what happened to him. But, like, that was a wild experience. And not to mention, like, I was there for a total of, like, 8 hours. So, like, the amount of people that I saw throughout that strand of a day, it was wild. And then I had to ride back. Then I had to ride back in this fucking tow truck with this guy. This guy that played Turn Down for What? He played Turn Down for What? He played it 3 times. And then he played Ed Sheeran, Thinking of You, and I was like, alright, you're kind of okay, I guess. But then he started singing, and it was just like, oh my fucking god. And he kept playing, like, Juju on that beat. Like, he was playing off, I couldn't handle it. And I was just like, alright. Great. Like, this is great. And, like, he kept telling me that my car was gonna fall off. And he kept, like, telling me that if I was there for any longer, I'd probably die. And I'm like, it's very reassuring. Thank you so much, sir. And, like, I don't even know his name. I didn't know his name. I couldn't stop thinking about the guy that got stabbed. Like, he flat out fucking got stabbed. And, like, I witnessed it. And I was shook. Like, bitch, I was so fucking shook. Like, whew, you don't even understand. It was a fucking wild experience. To top it all off, make sure your oil is right. Make sure your car doesn't overheat. Pay attention when driving. Don't witness people getting killed. Make sure your tow truck driver is not crazy and doesn't listen to Turn Down for What. If he listens to anything, he should listen to Get Me Through the Night by Trevor Moran, because, bitch, I'm loving that right now. Yeah. I don't know. It was a wild story. It was crazy. It's in my mind, in my memory, foggy as ever. Yeah. So I'm gonna be posting every, I think Friday. I don't know. It's fucking Thursday though, so like I'm already breaking that rule. I'll probably post whenever I want, but like I'm gonna do story times and like other fun things that people want if people like my videos. I'm kind of a, I don't know, I'm a bitch. I'm not really a bitch. I'm like a nice person, but like, you know. I think next week I'm gonna do, or like next video, probably like, I'll probably upload another one tomorrow. I'll probably do my crazy Uber driver story, because I have like 4. So yeah. Yeah, so like and subscribe below if you like me, and if you don't, then I'm so sorry. Please tell me what I can change about myself for you to like me. Bye.